whoever suggested that Batman and Ninja Turtles needed a crossover was clearly a genius, and we need to give them more love. Of course, it's James Tynion, so by default, he's writing for Justice League Dark and he's writing for Justice League. I think he's gotten a bit of love. I think he's got a fair bit of love, and Scott Snyder can't stop talking about him. So, yeah, I think he's gotten all the love he needs, but he should get more, honestly. He's like Paul Dini at this point. Well, actually, no. No one's like Paul Dini. But anyway, the Batman Ninja Turtles crossover, I think, is one of the best DC animated movies we've had in a good while. And I think for a crossover it works because the absurdity of both universes just sort of lends itself to a really great story. I mean, one is a universe where a grown man dresses up as a bat and beats up mental patients, and another one is a story about how a bunch of mutant turtles learn ninjutsu from a rat, and they use that ninjutsu to fight a group of assassins slash thieves slash mercenaries called the Foot. And then at both times, and at random points, both of those particular universes will have moments where those characters have to fight beings from another planet, another dimension, and possibly die just to come back later. So, what makes this work outside of the premise? Well, I would say the fact of the original book that it's based off of, it's pretty faithful to the adaptation. The only difference is certain characters aren't there that don't really contribute to the actual story. Like, they're there in the comic because, well, why shouldn't they be there? But ultimately, you can tell the story fine without them. Voice acting wise, I would say Kevin Conroy's done better work. There's nothing amazing about this dialogue. There's nothing that says Kevin Conroy had to do it. Ultimately, Kevin Conroy's best dialogue eras, I think, are behind him. The character's motivations is pretty much the same. The only real difference is that, well, I would say the comic is more Bruce-centered. This one is more everyone-centered, or at least it tries to be. Maybe that does hurt and does help, depending on what you like. I think we all like to get inside Bruce's head quite a bit. And the comic was really dealing with the idea that, we're getting close to the anniversary of the death of his parents, and he likes to be alone, he likes to brood, and here come four rambunctious teenagers looking for a way home, and he takes them under their wings. He gets trained with Splinter, he has pizza for the first time in ages, and it's all a really good feeling. The movie just sort of plays Bruce off as pretty not standoffish, pretty stuffy. Like, he doesn't like the idea of having pizza. He thinks it's not, doesn't have any nutritional value, doesn't, help contribute to his war on crime. And at the end, he decides to have pizza. Take it or leave it. The best character here, oddly enough, is sort of what separates both the movie and the comic, I think. In the comic, I would say the best character is Raphael, which isn't that big of an idea or departure from most Ninja Turtle stories. Raphael usually takes point for the most character out of all the turtles in most works. But he had a much stronger dynamic with Batman than he does in this one. Here, though, in the animated one, I would say Michelangelo is a really standoff character because his comedy is just gold. It's pretty much the same comedy in the comic. There's a couple of extra jokes, but oh my god, he helped make this story. Oh, like he sells the absurdity of it because, again, sort of like Fillmore. Fillmore's great because they play it so straight. In Batman Ninja Turtles, everyone plays it straight, but Michelangelo, like, he makes all the jokes. He is just so much fun. And I don't even like Michelangelo half the time, but the comedy here really sells this, along with some really great fight scenes. So I would honestly recommend that you both read and watch the Batman Ninja Turtles comic. If you haven't already, I think you're doing yourself a great disservice. It is possibly the best DC animated movie in a good while that isn't based off any other pre-existing works, and by that I mean legacy works like Death of Superman, and of course, the next movie we'll tackle here, Hush. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching, and as always, may your fandom serve you well.